Hey, welcome to the Publish, Promote, Profit podcast with me, Rob Kosberg. Every week, I interview thought leaders and experts who have used a book to grow their income and their impact. So tune in weekly for these interviews so you can learn how to use your own best-selling book and go from hunting for clients and opportunities to instead being the hunted. Hey, welcome everybody. Rob Kosberg here. I have another great guest for you for our Publish, Promote, Profit podcast. Ryan Cote is the Director of Digital Services and a partner at Ballantine.com, which I particularly like. It's a third generation family owned direct mail and digital marketing company out of New Jersey. And Ballantine has been serving small business clients since 1966, although Ryan himself has not, as you can tell by his age. His, I guess it was your great uncle that started the business way back, and now it's primarily, or all family members, which I think is very, very cool. You are also the author of an upcoming book for personal development for entrepreneurs. I'll ask you some questions about that, Ryan, but really excited to have you on because I do have a number of questions regarding digital marketing, direct mail, perhaps in particular, and of course, your expertise with entrepreneurs and personal development. So, Ryan, great to have you on the podcast today, my friend.
Yeah, Rob, thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk to you.
Yeah. I think we'll have some fun. I am certainly a direct and online marketing. Some would say that I'm really good at it, and others might not. But we've certainly spent millions of dollars of my own hard money. I'm not talking about as an agency where people have given me millions to spend. I mean, it's come out of my own pocket. So I do know a thing or two about it just by the school of hard knocks, as you might imagine. But maybe let's start. Tell me about your upcoming book, the title, the topic, because it is outside of the sphere of what your business is with Ballantine.
Yeah, so Ballantine is my career. And then on the side, I have a passion project that I've been doing actually since the start of COVID, April 2020. Around then I started the site. I used to publish articles on LinkedIn, and it was always, I would do marketing and I would do personal development articles, but I really enjoyed writing about personal development, cold showers and all that stuff. And I would write a Medium too. And then I had a thought, like, I should just create my own brand out of it because I really enjoy this. And this is like my attempt at helping people and like creating something that's of value, and it's a blog and it's a podcast.
Yeah.
And it's been an interesting journey because I've always been like in the marketing world. I've never, tried something like this where I'm trying to create a brand and having a podcast that was completely new. And then I had the crazy idea to try to write a book as like the next step. And that's all new to me as well. And I'm almost done with it. It's a book for entrepreneurs on using personal development to upgrade their life and their business because it's all very intertwined. And so basically it's everything that I've learned over the last, I've been doing personal development and I've been into it for many and many years. And it's like the journey that never ends. And so this is everything that I've learned, and I even throw in like trying to inject personal development into your company, like based on my experiences of what I've been trying to do, my own strategies for growing myself. And then even like kids, like I have 3 daughters, and just trying to pepper them with life lessons the best I can and what I've learned there. So I'm trying to make it almost like a handbook. And I'm almost done with it. So I'm excited to get it out there.
Awesome. Well, the fact that you have 3 kids means you really are going to need personal development for yourself.
3 daughters too.
I know. I have 3 sons. So I completely understand. Once you get to 3, you're outnumbered, and man, it is like exponentially more difficult. At least that was my experience. So, you are certainly someone that's going to need your self-development, my friend.
I have had moments of like, what have I done? If I could be honest, but there's more good moments than bad moments. So
no doubt. I mean, children are a wonderful legacy, and I love my kids. And I was just out in California myself, seeing my 2 older boys who are living in California. I'm in Florida. My youngest son works for me and is here in Florida. So, we get to spend a good deal of time together, which is incredibly rewarding. So,
Nate.
So congratulations on that. Talk to me about your passion project a little bit more. You obviously have the book upcoming. You're writing a book. Not because writing a book is easy, because it is not easy to write a book. You're obviously writing a book with something else in mind. What is your goal for the book? What are you trying to accomplish using the book to grow your audience, grow your business, get speaking? What's your plan for it or your idea for it?
Yeah, great question. Keep in mind, I haven't done this before. So this is my perspective on just trying to learn something, learn a new skill set. So to learn a new skill set. do something I haven't done before, which I talk about a lot in my blog about, doing something that makes you uncomfortable. So I'm like, well, if I write about it, I kind of have to eat my own dog food here. So how am I going to use it? That's a great question. That's what I'm trying to figure out right now. I'm leaning towards using it to get speaking gigs. I mean, I'm going to put it up on Amazon and try to make sales with it, of course, push people back to, morningupgrade.com and just so they can see what I'm doing there. But yeah, to get more on podcasts, and then on Morning Upgrade, I talk about Ballantine, and we have had some opportunities there. So I'm sort of figuring out how to and the book is for entrepreneurs. We usually work with entrepreneurs. So I'm trying to interweave it all. But if I had to boil it down to one main thing, yeah, it's to boost the awareness of Morning Upgrade and to get me more podcast speaking gigs as a starting point. And then if I make sales with it and, I'm not sure where Morning Upgrade, what the back end offer will be there eventually. Is it a mastermind? Is it a course? Is it something else? These are all things I'm trying to figure out as I go down this new journey.
Well, this might be a little different for a normal podcast, but I can give you a couple of suggestions if you like while we're talking, seeing as it is what I do. The book is your foundational piece, right? Of, at least from my perspective, I've seen this in my own businesses because I wrote my first book for my financial services company back in 2009. And then that led to me starting this ghostwriting, publishing, PR, et cetera, company, Bestseller Publishing, in 2011. If you do something high ticket, if you're selling a coaching program or even, $2,000 or $3,000 product program, 6-week thing, 8-week thing, whatever, some kind of done with you, then you can use the book in conjunction with all of your skills in digital marketing and media. You can even use it in conjunction with direct mail. And I got some questions for you about that for me and for the audience. But, a free plus shipping funnel, which we shared briefly. I mean, Publish, Promote, Profit, which you see behind me, I mentioned to you before. It's a Wall Street Journal bestseller, and we certainly sell books, and that's great. But at $5 a pop or whatever the number is, that's not going to give you the kind of lifestyle generally that you want authoring a book. However, our programs, range from the low 4 figures to over 6 figures, depending on what a client wants us to do for them. And we use the book to generate leads, specifically buyer leads, in a self-liquidating offer, right? Something where there's a number of different upsells and downsells on the front end, audio book, various courses, et cetera. And the leads are, if not free, because it's, the cost of acquiring a customer is liquidated by what we're earning, or they're very close. It's very cheap to get a very, very high quality person into the funnel. And that's led to about $3 million, not including all the other funnels that we run, challenges that we run, webinars that we run. But that one funnel has added about $3 million to the bottom line of Bestseller Publishing just in the last 18 months. So,
Great.
If you do have high ticket, I'd highly recommend a book funnel. Even if you just sell courses, I mean, you can get it to cash flow positive on the front end, even if you sell $1,000 course or something like that. I mean, look at Russell Brunson with ClickFunnels and what he's done, basically selling ClickFunnels on the back end, at $97 a month or $297 a month. So, and you got a huge audience. I mean, you're talking about, entrepreneur obviously is a big audience, but self-help, massive audience. Your book can do real well in that regard. Anyway.
That was helpful. The way I think about this is, even if it's a complete failure, I'll have learned something new. I'll have learned how to put a book on Amazon, how to write a book, how to promote it, and all that. So at the very least, I'm going to walk away with some new skill sets, but I'm sure it won't be a complete failure, but that's what I'm thinking.
That's the self-improvement person inside you, right? Looking at the bright side because of the self-discipline you've had to exercise to do your book. So, but trust me, if you use your book, it will produce incredible rewards. I mean, we basically give our clients kind of 3 foundational focuses. Use your book for lead gen, and that could be 100 different ways. I don't need to tell you that, right? That can be direct mail. That can be all kinds of online stuff. That can be referrals. That can be networking. Use your book for speaking engagements, or use your book for PR and media, which grows your platform and then circles back around to, lead gen, et cetera. So those 3 kind of foundational elements, if you just plug your book into whatever your efforts are in one of those 3 areas, then it'll supercharge your efforts. It'll supercharge your efforts to get speaking engagements, lead gen, et cetera, et cetera. So,
and I'm definitely going to mail it to clients. That's the great thing about writing a book. There's so many different ways you can use it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Your authority goes, off the chart when you publish a book, let alone publish a book that's done well, a best-selling book with good reviews and that sort of thing. Maybe we can talk about that for a few minutes, because I'm intrigued by what Ballantine does. I love marketing personally and specifically. I know some people hate it. I love it. Marketing is different than sales, of course. I was hardcore salesperson, like from a teenager. Basically, I got my real estate license when I was 18, and my dad taught me this is how you get listings. You hammer the phones, you call the FSBOs, you call the expires, et cetera. When I learned that I could turn it all around and instead have people coming to me and hunting for me, I was like, oh man, I got to learn this. What is this witchcraft and sorcery? I've got to learn that. And that's what you guys do at Ballantine, which I think is really cool. But, everybody's interested probably, or most people, in digital. But I want to talk about the direct mail aspect for a minute. What are you seeing in a general sense regarding your direct mail business and the kind of results that people are getting with direct mail right now?
Yeah, so it's an interesting dynamic at Ballantine because on the digital side, we work with small businesses that are using us for lead generation, driving traffic to the website through SEO, paid search, et cetera, and then trying to get people to pick up the phone and call them or fill out a form. On the direct mail side, it's completely different. We work with very large companies that do a lot of mail and need us to do it for them. And so we're basically a production company. So they come to us to produce all this mail. Usually it's very, very complicated. And they hire us to get it done cost effectively and delivered on time. What we're seeing, it really depends on the industry. So, we are heavy in travel, which hasn't been great for everything that's been happening. But we're also very heavy in other industries like nonprofits, which have been doing fine. So, we've had a very strong last few years. Everyone talks about direct mail being dead, but it really isn't. It's just like anything, like digital. It's just changing. Back I wasn't in the business in the 90s, but I hear all the stories. Like we used to do all the AOL mailers, the disc mailers, and the Columbia
the old
House
CD-ROM they would send you.
That was us. Just
crazy,
blanketing the entire U.S.
Holy cow, man! So much of that went in the garbage, but it obviously made AOL money. I mean, they sold for hundreds of millions of dollars or something like that, billions perhaps.
Yeah, back in the day, that was just like a spray and pray. Whereas now, especially as data has become much more sophisticated, you can target really specifically the person you want to reach. So the campaigns are smaller, but more targeted. Also the technology and we don't own any printing presses. We're a broker production company, but we've got a network of 25, 30 plants that we use. A lot of them are family owned like us. And so,
nice.
A lot of these plants, they invest in new technology. You think of a printing press, it's like anything. It's like a car. Every couple of years, they try to make it more advanced and do new stuff with imaging and personalization and the way it prints. And, if my brother Matt was on here, he can get really nerdy with you and all this stuff. But that's, I've just told you everything I know. But so the point I was making is that the pieces that you could do, the personalization, it's much more sophisticated. The formats, clear envelopes, video mailers, really high quality, high speed personalization. Or you can go real simple, just like postcards and get it down and dirty. So direct mail, it seems simple on the surface. And you open up your mailbox, you got all these pieces of mail in there. But like what it took to get that piece of mail into your inbox, it would blow your mind if you knew all the steps.
Wow. Well, I have some questions, and you brought up a couple of things that I was absolutely thinking about. I've used direct mail in my various businesses to great success, but you get lazy, or I can tend to get lazy. And when you have digital at your fingertips, if you know what I mean, and, can produce results, that has sidetracked some of my direct mail efforts. But I want to ask like a couple of specific questions and even give you a scenario and find out what you think about this. So I'm going to use myself as a guinea pig because I want to learn, but I think it'll also be helpful for other folks. If I was targeting a very specific kind of individual, say, a member of the C-suite, a certain age group, right? You were talking about data and really honing in on the right target. So let's say I'm trying to target somebody in a specific income range, in a specific type of business or career, C-suite, and at a certain age group. And I wanted to focus on, let's say, those individuals writing a legacy book. And I wanted to send them a video, or I wanted to send them a copy of Publish, Promote, Profit with a letter that is addressed to them, et cetera. Number one, is that possible? And how specific can you be with the data? Number two, do you have any examples of situations like that where people have done small batches, 100, 500, 1,000, because they're selling something to a very, very high level individual at a high price? Do you have some like examples of that? And I hope that's not too specific a question.
No, I can answer it. So in terms of the data, and like offline, I can connect you with who our data partner is. It's not in-house service. We use someone that we've known for 20 years. Yeah, they've got, data now you've got compiled. And actually right out of college, I worked for 2 mailing list companies. So that was actually my first job out of college before I went into the family business. A little side note there. But yeah, the data now, you can buy compiled data. And so like, age, industry, job title, there's a whole bunch of stuff. You can buy a data that's based on like survey questions. Like if you ever they're not as big now. I guess they're still big. Like you take surveys for prizes. They're giving you something because they're going to then sell your data. They're going to sell your data to someone, a mailer, a marketer. And then you could buy responsive data. So someone that subscribes or they've taken an action. And so you've got responsive data. It's more expensive, but you're mailing to someone that's shown in the past that they will make a response, they'll take action. And then you've got the compiled or survey data where you have like countless different selects. So yeah, I've seen requests come into our data partner for very, very specific targets, and they've been able to get it. The question is, what's the quantity going to be? Are you going to have like a few hundred, where maybe for something like you just described there, where you're going to mail them a book, that's fine. But if a client wants like something sizable to send out 5, 10, 25,000 mailers, and sometimes we run into a problem with the quantity if the targeting is way too specific. But in the more manual, lumpy type package you described, that would be fine. 300, 500 would be all you need. The second question you asked about examples. So the one thing that came to my mind when you were asking it is we've done work with this. It's like a visiting nurse service of New York. And they wanted to reach doctors' offices, like the reception area, to get referrals. And so their approach was they were mailing out premium. So, and this was many, many years ago, like 5 years ago. So I'm just trying to remember, but it was basically like a cube box that we got for them. And then inside we put like a flower pot type of thing, not an actual with dirt, but like a fake flower pot with a pen inside with a little card, like maybe like that big, and a little note on it. And so it stood out. There wasn't, I don't remember the quantity, but it was very small because it was very expensive. But it just got the door open for them. I don't remember the exact response rates, but in that case, it was premiums. It was like a lumpy box with a pen inside and a flower pot, and they did it over and over again.
Nice. I would say to a client of mine, and I've said this many times regarding direct mail, if they're selling a premium price product, program, coaching, consulting, et cetera, something that's $10,000, $20,000, maybe $100,000, that's a beautiful place to be, because you don't need a list of 100,000 or a million people. You only need a list of 1,000 of your ideal clients, maybe 500 of your ideal clients. And if you can, start attracting 1, 2 of those clients every few months, you very, very quickly get a massive return on investment, especially if you can build a relationship over and over with them. I don't know. I mean, what would it cost to send a book? $5, $10? I know what it cost us to do it, but including list data and all that, it might be $10. So for a $5,000 campaign, you could send 1,000 of them, right? And reach 1,000 of your absolutely ideal prospects. I just think it's massively underutilized for people in the specialty niches. I don't know if you're seeing any changes there or what your vibe is in that business.
I mean, I would even to add to that, I think about our own marketing. Like when we get a direct mail lead, we'll mail out a sample kit in priority mail, which is a lot more money. Even FedEx, we've had some clients like in the wealth management space where they're targeting really high net worth individuals. They'll mail like FedEx envelopes, and we're not talking about a lot of people, and it's expensive, but that's going to get opened. We work with a very high end insurance company, and they did video mailers. I think it was 200 of their leads, like their best leads, and sent out these video mailers. I think the size was like a 6x9. You open up the folder and it started playing a video.
Yeah.
They were sponsoring one of the golf, like Pebble Beach or something like that. And so it was about their sponsorship and what they can do. And so person opened up the video and the folder and the video started playing. So when you have like a really small group or you got a high, like you said, a high ticket product, it makes sense to do that kind of stuff. You do have to stand out. You can't, the normal postcard, the cheap like letter packages, it's just noise at that point. You need to stand out.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love it. Talk to me a little bit more about, what you're seeing that's working best at Ballantine when it comes to digital marketing. Obviously the people that are listening to this podcast, my clients, they want to sell books, but really they want to use their books to sell whatever is the thing that they're ultimately selling, right? Which will be the case with you in your personal development business also. What are some of the best ways, the best bang for the buck that they can get? We've kind of beaten the horse of direct mail. Talk to me about the other stuff that you guys do and what you're seeing.
Yeah, so I'll answer this from our perspective. Every agency has a different skill set or a different recipe of how they do things. Our approach is not to rely on one channel. We nowadays, like any business, we try to Kaizen ourselves every year, like continuous improvement. We very rarely take on like single service work now, like where someone just wants SEO or something like that. Clients come to us because they want an integrated approach. We basically become their marketing department or an extension of their marketing department. And so they'll use us for a variety of services. And I think that's actually a good lesson for everyone because you really can't rely on just one channel nowadays. Great. First of all, buyers, they use multiple channels. They're a lot more sophisticated. They have a lot more options of where to look, social, Google, et cetera, et cetera. And so very rarely are they just using one channel. And when you use one channel, like SEO, for example, like they just came out with their page experience update where they looked at load speed and how your site shifts when you scroll and all that stuff. And if your site wasn't buttoned up there, you're going to rank, your rankings are going to drop. And now you've relied on SEO and now all of a sudden you're in trouble. So, and we've seen it work better too. Like what's the saying? Rising tide raises all ships. I think I got that right. Yeah. You need to get all your channels in check, like SEO, paid search, social media, content, they all kind of feed off each other. If you want me to give you like a more specific answer, like we're really bullish on content right now because we're seeing Google rank more blogs and articles and information. And it makes sense. Their job is to answer questions when someone's going to Google. Not that they're always asking a question, but they're looking for information. And blogs do a great job of answering questions and providing information. And so, and then think about the way Google's search results are changing, like featured snippets, and their search results page is much more complicated and dynamic. And so blogs have, a better chance of ranking. We've seen, especially in like the featured snippets, which is all the way at the top of the page. Also bullish on content, and then I'll stop, is it's something you could do and then use it other ways. So like we create a blog post, I do sales, so I'll send it to prospects, I'll put it on LinkedIn, our team will put it on social. If a piece of content's doing really well, we can create a video out of it, the topic. So this is ways like you do a piece of content and then there's like multiple ways to repurpose it. And it's kind of neat,
Right. What you said, obviously it's hard to disagree with, right? You can't have just one channel. There need to be multiple channels. But that's a little terrifying at the same time. I mean, for some people maybe listening, like you said, you work with small businesses. I mean, I don't want to put you on the spot with, okay, give me some pricing, but like a small business that you're going to work on their SEO, their content marketing, their paid search. It's like, holy cow. I mean, can that be affordable? Is that how people get started with Ballantine? Is that what the suggestion is? Like, I guess I'm asking for the small business person that's listening to this. Like they know they need to do all that, but is that reasonable or affordable for somebody to actually do it?
Yeah, I mean, we work with mainly small businesses on the digital side. We've got some that are a little bit bigger. They fall into like the mid-size, but by small business, I'm talking like they have like 10 to 40 employees, 15 to 40 employees. So they're not like a solopreneur, but they're still a small business. We're, at the time of us speaking here, we're, I won't give exact pricing, but we're like the cost of bringing an entry-level person in-house, but
that sounds like $4,000 or $5,000 a month, $6,000 a month, something in that range.
Yeah. Right. It depends what they need, but that's a good ballpark.
Yeah. That's not bad, especially if the focus is so multi-dimensional. and I totally agree with what you said. I mean, you've got to have multiple channels that are bringing in, because one channel, will break, right? I mean, like you said, SEO changes. They're always changing the target. And so, you've got to be up on that stuff, which is
Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook,
exactly.
Even paid search. I mean, you're paying to play, you get the ads up and the traffic starts literally within hours. But, I remember back in the day, I was really big into affiliate marketing, like maybe 13 years ago or so. And I was very big into affiliate marketing, driving traffic with Google ads, doing very well with it. And then Google decided they didn't like affiliate landing pages as much. And they started really slamming that, like canceling accounts. And so you just can't, you're playing in their sandbox. And so you have to really be diverse and, collecting emails and when I say that, I don't think it's smart to be like everywhere unless you have a massive team and a massive budget. So even when I say like we're in multiple channels, like with social media, we have a very specific way we use it. We're not on like TikTok and all this. It's just not our specialty and we just don't do it that way. But we work with multiple channels, but it's, with paid, it's usually Google, not Google and DuckDuckGo and Bing. And that's just our way of doing it. So we try to use multiple channels, but we're not like, we're going to put you everywhere in the world and on every single platform.
Right. Right. You need to write a big check for something like that. No, that's good. I love this topic. I really believe and teach my clients that, there's proactive and there's reactive. And unfortunately, most authors think, well, I've written the book and now I'm just going to wait for the phone to ring, proverbial phone to ring, whatever that means. People are going to come to me. That's reactive. And you need to take control of your destiny and be proactive. And so that's why I've enjoyed talking to you, because that's obviously what Ballantine does. And you do that through a number of different, channels and in ways, which I think is terrific.
Thank you.
Any last thoughts, or, what should people think about when they think about if they have never paid somebody for these types of services, or they're maybe trying to do some of this themselves, or, whatever, what should people think about when it comes to being proactive, using digital, direct mail, et cetera? And then let's also give them some links where they can reach you both at Ballantine as well as your self-improvement for entrepreneurs business.
Yeah, I would say like if you're considering using an agency, check their reviews, ask for their reviews. If they don't have any, that's a red flag. Ask for case studies. If they don't have any, that's another red flag. Try to verify the case studies by speaking to the clients. I would also say something that is not as discussed often is, speak to them a few times. Like, do you like them? Can you see yourself working with them? Because oftentimes, at least with the right relationship or the right engagement, you're speaking, the client and the agency are speaking often, and you have to it goes both ways. You have to like the person, want to work with them. Our best client engagements are the ones where like we really enjoy each other. We're sort of like friends. And so you have to like the person you're working with. And so just go with your gut on that. And then check the references and all that stuff. If they're trying to do it themselves, I would say, it depends what your budget is and all that, but you can't go wrong with content and creating content as like the first channel that you work on. Like I said, you can't rely on just one channel. So make sure you're also putting the content on social media and you're also optimizing it for search and all of that, and sharing it with your network.
Love it. Love it. Great advice, my friend. Thank you. And some links where people can learn more about both Ballantine and your stuff.
Sure. So Ballantine is ballantine.com, BALLANTINE, ballantine.com. And then my personal development passion project is morningupgrade.com. It started off talking about morning routines because that was my serious introduction to personal development, and still is, but the site has blossomed into like all things personal development beyond just morning routines. Yeah.
Great domain.
I'm surprised it was available, right? I saw that. Like, this is a sign. I got to buy it.
Yeah, that's a good one. Awesome. Ryan, great to meet you. Thanks so much for being on the podcast. Obviously, for those of you listening, comment below any questions that you have for Ryan. You can certainly ask them on whether it's YouTube or the podcast, but for sure, connect with Ryan if you have any needs regarding digital marketing or self-improvement. So my friend, thanks so much for being on. Great to have you with us.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks, everyone.